welcome to Scripts and Giggles with Shoshanna
and Marnie.
So, we were having a bit of a debate offline about who is more chill. Now, if you've been listening for a while, I think you will agree that I'm more chill.
And I think if you're a person with common sense, you hear a person saying, I think you'll agree I'm more chill. And that makes you think, perhaps that person isn't chill.
No, the backstory is this. Marnie.
So my name is Shoshanna now. This is how unchill you... When I tell you Shoshanna is coming apart at the seams, and the mere idea that she's not a chill person.
No, the backstory was this. So Marnie sent me a TikTok. And for those, if you didn't know, I have a massive phobia of mice, rats, anything basically with 4 legs and a tail. So Marnie sends me this TikTok and doesn't say what it includes. And basically, when I opened it, it was a mouse that was hanging from a fire alarm in the ceiling. And I only saw it for like 2 seconds and closed out of it. So when we met up for this recording, I was like, why did you send this to me? You know how I am with mice, because I had unfortunate experience with mice in my house and had to phone my landlord to come and fill up some of the holes. And I said to the landlord that, hey, I'm a chill person in general, but when it comes to mice, I'm not. As a way, just so he understood why I was so scared. And then this girl was like, you're not chill. I was like, I am.
You're not a chill
I'm
person.
very chill. I am very chill.
You're not a chill person.
I am a chill person.
You're actually not a chill person. And it's okay.
No.
Not everybody can be chill.
No, but I think that why I say that I'm a chill person is because I just don't sweat the hard stuff.
Yes, you do.
No, I really don't. Like,
I have been abroad with Shoshanna, and when I tell you, she wouldn't even let us get a croissant. She wouldn't let us get a croissant. She said, we have to be here at this time. No, where is your passport? Where's your... We need to go security.
In my defence, we were going to miss a plane. We were.
We were not going to miss that plane.
There are things that I do not mind missing. We can miss a bus.
We were not going to miss that plane.
We can miss a train.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't like it, but if it has to be done, we'll miss a train. Person. But when it comes to flights, we can't miss a flight.
Chill dudes can miss flights.
Oh, bougie people can miss flights.
We
had one chance to get on our flight.
Chill people would be like, we will get there. Which was the truth. We weren't late for that flight.
Yes, but the
gate wasn't open when we got there.
I mean, that's how they fool you in with Ryanair and EasyJet. But I'm just saying, we were on a time schedule, and when it comes to certain places, we can't just let things slide.
And that's why you're not a chill person.
No,
but that's okay.
No, but I also said that was 5 years ago. When we go on holiday again, you will see how chill I was. During that trip, my eyes were opened. And
you became more chill.
I did.
Yeah, but you were not ultimately chill.
No, I wasn't at the beginning.
More chill,
I wasn't at the beginning.
Chill.
I always said that trip, it was a trip to Lisbon. That trip was very defining in terms of how I travel in future after those trips.
I'm glad I was able to change your life.
And I think, again, my chilliness or my chillness, or the degree of my chillness has basically correlates with my age. As I've grown older and more mature, I feel that there are things that I, decide that I will just choose the peace and I'm not going to choose the problems. I'm not going to go low. I'm going to stay high like Michelle Obama says. So I feel I'm a chill person.
I would say you're not chill because I feel like something, if something happened to me, I would be like, I'm not going to call Shoshanna because she is going to freak out.
For real?
I do think that you are a person who freaks out. Not in a you're not screaming and throwing up, but you will be like, oh God.
I mean, in my head, I may be a bit concerned.
You are expressively concerned. I feel like if anyone tells you anything bad, you have a reaction.
But yes, because I'm a human being. But what I'm saying is that after that, I get into action mode. I don't. I really do. You're a joker. Like see, this is what happens when a person says that they're chill. They're lying that they're trying to strangle you. I'm saying that yes, the immediate thing is a shock, or I may show it expressively, but I do get into action very quickly, and that's what a chill person does. They react. No, they react to the situation and find a resolution very quickly.
Do you feel like if someone was like, hey, we've been dating for 2 years.
This is a Date and Scribbles episode.
No,
again.
but I'm just saying, here's an
Okay,
example of a thing. Been dating for 2 years, I don't love you and I am going. You just be like, hey man, see you later. Or would you not be like, what the fuck do you mean?
I mean, that's different.
No, it's not.
So you're telling me that? Okay.
Like, I'm saying I'm a chill dude. Like,
No.
I'd be like, go.
No, I think...
Bye.
I think that I would be very shocked. I would be angry. I'm not gonna lie. What's the point? Why am I not gonna be angry? I can't be like, oh, you don't love me anymore. Oh, that's good. Great. No. Especially if there's been commitments or things that have been created together and you've blindsided me about this. That's the reason why I would not be chill about it. But I think this is a very special situation.
Would you ever consider doing revenge?
No. I would just be like, for you, it's a betrayal by this point. So I want you out of my life, and I would do all manner of things to make sure you're not in my life, but not for revenge, but just for me to be able to heal and move on.
Would you get them fired from their job?
No, you're the person. You have said it before that you will go to the person's job or be writing Yelp reviews. That's someone that's not chill.
I never said I was chill. I said I'm more chill than you.
No. See, I'm saying I want to move on. You're saying I'm gonna go and create revenge.
But I'm actually more chill than you are.
No, I disagree.
Because emotionally,
I am.
let me finish.
Yeah.
You're always jumping on my words. You're clearly not chill. Emotionally, I would be like, I'm not holding on to any more of this because I've done my revenge and now I feel better. Like, I'm mature enough person that I know what I need in that moment. What I need is to cause you some sort of harm or pain.
No.
And then I will be fine.
I think my faith and being a Christian woman and just having my relationship with God has helped me in certain ways to be like, some people are not for you.
Mm.
And the best thing for me to do, it will take time, but the best thing for me to do is forgive. So that a whole me, cannot have that burden on me.
And as a lapsed Christian woman, I actually really do believe in revenge. I really do. I just feel like whatever form your revenge wants to take, because sometimes your revenge is just like, I'm not going to speak to you ever again in your life.
Yeah. I'm not saying it's like, yes, you know when they say, forgive and forget. I'm perfectly honest. I'm a Christian woman, but I'm not going to forget, but I'm going to learn from it.
This has reminded me of that moment in The Hills when...
What happened?
What was her name? The main girl has a beef with Heidi. And
Lauren.
she says to Heidi, Lauren says to Heidi, I'm going to forgive you, but now I'm going to have to forget you. And they play the end music, and you're just like, watch her.
The rest is still unwritten.
No, that was the end. That's the opening music.
What was the ending song?
It was just like, I don't know, I can't remember, but like you've just got Lauren walking away, you've got Heidi looking at her, like tears in her eyes. It's like, that is the most powerful thing I've ever seen.
Wow. I mean, I just feel as a chill person, it's taken a lot of time for me to get this degree of chill.
Don't introduce yourself as a chill person.
I am. That's the thing. Because when I said to my landlord that, he gave me a certain look, but...
Yeah, because he said, chill where?
No,
he said, I've received 48 emails from you this morning about you're a chill person.
No, I just said in a very polite, slightly shaky voice that I needed some help, and he came over and helped with the...
Yeah, he came because you were probably like, there's a mouse in the house and I can't breathe.
I have the voice note with me. I will play after this thing.
And he was probably like, oh my god, she's in danger. And then it was like, it was a mouse.
No.
It's a mouse.
The guy was just throwing jokes. Like, oh, at least you have company in the house. I said, wow.
Because he was thinking, if it wasn't for the mouse, maybe I'd keep you company.
Ow, that's going to get cut out. Put
it back in!
No, fam, no.
I feel like we've come to a very clear conclusion in this discussion, which is that
I'm chill. If we had a thermostat, I'm on -1 degree.
No, you're not.
I'm as cold as ice.
What's cooler than being cool? Not Shoshanna. It's ice cold. Andre 3000. And you'll never be as chill as he is. He is ultimate chill. You're at -1. I'm at -50.
I am finished. I'm done.
Yeah, you are done.
No, I'm not. I'm just saying, in this conversation, I'm going to choose peace as a chilled person, and I'm not going to continue the problems. Because if I was hot and not chilled,
She is hot.
I am hot.
She's hot.
Physically, but
She's
internally,
boiling.
internally, if I was a hot person and not chilled, I'll be chucking shade. I'll be arguing with you. I'm not gonna do that because I already know my thing. I'm gonna do a Michelle Obama. I'm gonna go high, stay high. Not that kind of high, but stay high.
So chill people would definitely be doing that kind of
Yeah,
high.
it was.
But do you know what? I think we're obviously not going to come to a consensus. So let's leave it to the viewers, the listeners, the lads, the ladettes.
You kept with ladettes.
I don't really like ladettes. I like lads and ladies.
Yeah.
I feel like that's
As a
what I
chill
like.
person, both are fine with me.
Do you know what? Let's get to pop culture.
Let's
Because
get
you
to
are
it.
absolutely forcing it.
Yeah.
You are absolutely forcing it. Time for the music. So, last week we decided we were going to have rankings that were who's on Bop Island, who's on Flop Island.
Oh yeah.
I think we can safely say this week SK is on Flop Island again.
Again, I mean he's taken extra accommodation.
He's bought a house.
Absolutely, yeah.
He's going to be living on Flop Island. I think that... So, the update to this is that when we recorded the podcast, I think that Raven was still sort of posting him and he was on her socials. She has since deleted every single photo of him from her Instagram and is making funny TikTok videos about getting rid of her ex or her toxic ex or whatever, or saying that people need therapy. So they are completely done. She also posted a thank you for all your messages at this time. Like the thing that again,
the privacy thing, like at this time we'd like to keep our privacy.
It feels very weird to me. Like I get it. I'm sure people were inundating, and this is a wider conversation to have about. I've been thinking a lot about social media and how dangerous it is, but the fact that people would have been posting questions on her, would be commenting questions about SK on all of her posts that have nothing to do with him. Yeah. So you can't actually get away from this thing, which is probably what will compel you to be like, we need to I have to write something, because I would like to post my Pilates videos without people being like, what? I can't believe SK cheated on you. Like, leave me alone. So now I feel like I get why people do that, but it also feels like, first of all, why is it any of our business?
No. Well, they brought us in because they went on a dating reality show.
Yeah, but
that
why?
we would watch and got involved in and indulged in for.
Yeah, and the show is over.
Yes, but we watched their whole love story. So
that's what I'm saying. I felt uncomfortable about the post-show desire to still be in these people's lives.
Yeah, but in the same breath, you still want these fans to be indulged and invested in your career, because a lot of these people go on these shows to become influencers. And for you to have influencers, you must have people who are following you and invested in your life. So, unfortunately, this is the swings and roundabouts that happen with being on a reality dating show. And Love is Blind is not the first dating show ever in the world. You know how things go. You know how this goes. If you're on TV and you get a certain edit and also certain notoriety after the show, there will be interest in you, the good and the bad. And you signed up for this show, you knew what you signed up for. So I don't really feel that sorry for them. As someone
who's clearly not chill.
I'm in this particular instance, I'm not that chill about it, because I'm like, the whole privacy thing, they're not even celebrities.
I don't think I'm even necessarily saying I feel sorry for them. I just think it's really unhealthy for us as people who are consuming something that's real as if it's fake. If that makes sense. Like, we want a story, we want something with a neat beginning, middle and end, and actually they're still going through whatever it is. So we genuinely won't have a coherent understanding of this situation until the After the Altar special comes out.
I agree.
And it feels a bit weird. I think the thing that's bothering me is how every single day you're getting new information that's telling the story in another, and I'm like, I can't keep up. Like, McCole, her friend, who came and met SK for the show and then wasn't at the wedding, got TikTok specifically to come clean about her experience on the show and was basically just laughing at Raven for believing that SK was gonna be legit.
I mean, she wasn't a good friend. In that
She
was
said
in the show, what she said to Raven and what she said even behind Raven's back wasn't what I would describe as a good friend.
Yeah, she actually said she's claiming that Raven paid her to be on the show. They're not actually friends.
No.
Yeah. Again, I don't know how accurate that is, but like you hear something like that and you're like, oh my god, what is real and what is not real in the game of this thing. And I did say on a previous episode that I felt a little bit like Raven and SK getting together despite the wedding and not knowing what had transpired to fix whatever like the humiliation of being jilted at the altar made me feel a little bit like they'd had a conversation that was like, for the sake of like, you know, the social media clout or whatever, perhaps we should present this fake relationship. But I feel like Raven's response to finding out this stuff about SK, and equally the way that the women who have come out about him have said, he told them it was just a business relationship or whatever. But when they asked him to meet Raven, he would air them all, delete and block them.
Yeah.
So clearly, it wasn't just a business thing.
No, I think that I think it was a real relationship. I think they did reconcile after the show. I mean, there's still question marks as to the timings, because there was some time where they were broken up, but they reunited and they've been together for a significant period of time before the reunion. But I think what's interesting is that this is how all unfolded so quickly and so soon after the show. And again, for some people, they would assume that the women that are coming forward are doing this for clout, because, you know, they see this couple that are together, but in hindsight and behind the scenes, it's not as rosy as it seemed. But in the same breath, I'm like, SK really demonstrated to West African men, and I eat all my words. Every single word I said about him in the first review that we did, because this guy has really shown. He's up there with Kwame.
Oh yeah, no, the two of them are on Flop Island.
The Flop Island
together.
together.
Like Kwame, he's not even
neighbours.
relevant anymore. Hold on a second. We actually forgot that in the time between Math's ending and like as of maybe last week, the week before, Kwame has his music.
Yeah, it's a rap career.
He's on Flop Island.
He's so on Flop Island.
He's on Flop Island.
Not even because of him, but the music itself belongs on Flop Island.
The way he's rapping in it, his
the flow,
God.
the bars. That's what they're playing in the Flop Island bars.
Is that and Drake's house album? That's all they're playing on loop.
Honestly, never mind. Plus Kwame's single. Plus the video as well.
Yeah, you have to watch the video. You can't.
It's so bad.
You can't just hear it. You've got to experience it. Yeah, no, West African men on reality TV.
Do better.
We need to revamp the image.
Yeah, we need just one person to come and just.
West African men on reality TV are probably fine. West African men whose personality is that they're from their country,
Yes.
That has to just stop. It just has to stop. It has to stop.
You are more than just being Nigerian. You are more than just being Ghanaian.
You are also a cheater. So that is something that's important. And you are more than just Ghanaian. You're a man who took a woman to a park. You're a man who doesn't have a house. Potentially is homeless. You are homeless Ghanaian, and that is a personality. That is something you double down on.
I'm so done.
Yeah, so I wanted to mention that one of the girls seemed to have had an on-off relationship with him for a while. And I was just thinking, like, because you were talking about how people might think that these women are coming out for clout. I was like, imagine if you'd been seeing someone on and off for like 3 or 4 years, and they're flying you out to places, you're going on holidays together, then you find out that you see their phone and they've got someone written as like Raven wife, and you're like, who's this? And they're like, oh, my fiance. out that because this is what I mean about being chill and not being chill. She said, this man's not going to get away with this.
Yeah.
And I bet you, had he had a bad edit on the show, potentially she would have kept that in her back pocket because she's like, yeah, you're getting what you deserve. Yeah. It was the fact that people were like, oh, SK. Yeah. Oh, he seems like such a sweet guy, SK. She said, sweet where? Yeah. Sweet who? This is the SK that you guys are back in. And I never liked him.
I just ended up feeling sorry for him. We talked about it in the previous reviews when Raven was still in her villain era, where she was like, even though you were going to do your masters in the West Coast, you have to still pay for my rent in Texas. Yeah. So that's on that the camera panned to him and that face he gave. I felt so sorry for him.
I didn't feel sorry for him. I just felt sorry for him. Do you know what it was? I didn't feel sorry for him in that moment because I saw in his face like, okay, cool, then I won't marry you. He wasn't powerless in that situation. As much as he was trying to convince us, and I felt like the editing was really convincing us that SK loves Raven, and Raven is slowly warming to SK. Yeah. At that point, I was like, oh, yeah, you're playing it as if we're supposed to be like, poor SK, he loves Raven so much, but she keeps putting all these obstacles in the way, like him paying her rent when he's not even going to be living with her. But actually, she ended up being that she really liked him. Yeah. Yeah. And that's the thing with Aries babes, like when we fall hard. And it's a real damn shame.
Yeah. I wish him all the best. I think Raven's gonna come out of this in a better space.
For sure.
And I think with all the notoriety and influencers and followers, I think she'll get what she needs. I don't think she should be surprised that people are invested in their quote unquote love story.
Do you think SK is gonna come back for After the Altar?
Yeah, I think he'll come back. Because I think he want to clear his name.
I don't think that name's getting cleared.
All I ask is please do not do what that other guy did. What was his name? The one with the ukulele. Oh, the girlfriend. Sorry.
What was that man's name?
Did they not get engaged? I think they got engaged afterwards.
Didn't they get engaged at the thing?
Oh yes, I think so. If not, they're engaged now. But please do not bring any outsiders that are not part of the show onto the show.
After the altar will be the messy.
It will be messy. I want you to bring Andrew. I want you to bring all the people that we didn't get to see. I want you to bring the black girl that was in that scene with Nancy when Nancy's complaining about, oh, all these guys love me, and this black girl just looking at her like blinking. I wish someone made it into a meme because it was just so, I was gonna say the word relatable, but that may be like shady, but it's like, it just felt so seen in that moment where like this black girl just listening to this girl complain about all the loves in her life, and she's just like, I've got no one though. And that being said, girl, you won, because look at all the men from this season.
Honestly,
look at them.
Who's running to marry any one of these people? I actually think maybe Love Is Blind is a sort of like a PSA about marriage. Like, don't get married. Actually, is what the point of the show is. Like, here are all the ways in which getting married to someone could be the worst decision that you ever make in your life.
You know what, I agree. I think it should be like a deterrent for people who think that marriage is one of those quick win type of things. You can just get married in 5 weeks and you don't need to see them. You don't need to know anything about their lives. I think it's a good show. Again, it's the show that I would have gone on in series 1 alone. All these consequent seasons, miss me with that.
So, love remains blind. And drama remains in plain sight.
Plain sight.
Any other bits of pop culture news?
For this week, we could talk about Zeynab. But I think Zeynab she's just living her
villain era. Zeynab is in her villain era.
She has to lean into it because she can't do the sympathy thing one because no one's there for it. She can go off social media and live her life, which she should, but again, take your villain era and get your followers.
To be fair, I know, I've said everything I'm going to say about Zeynab and Cole already, but Cole has also been making TikToks atting Zeynab. Yeah. So the two of them revealed themselves to be quite immature people.
We already knew this.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Already had. So this is really just expected for two people who are like kids. Yeah. And want to one-up each other. And again, it goes back to this thing, like we were talking about offline. if you truly cared about someone, like really, really loved them at some point, I can't imagine wanting to disgrace them.
Yeah. But again,
Unless they disgraced you.
Yeah. They only knew each other for 4 weeks. And in that time, their relationship was so tumultuous.
It was garbage.
And ultimately, they didn't like each other.
No.
Had they stayed married, it would have been one of those kind of couples where they are together.
They wouldn't have stayed married.
No, they wouldn't have. But they wouldn't like each other. They'll say they love each other, but they don't actually like each other.
And a lot of people will live that life, and
Yeah.
it's just truly very sad,
It's
which is
very
why
sad.
I think that the show is mostly a deterrent for getting married.
Yeah.
Shall we get on to the meat and potatoes?
Let's do that.
So, review of the week is it Are You the Mole or the Mole?
The Mole.
Okay, The Mole, which is a format on Netflix where a group of people fly to Australia, which I didn't realise until maybe the third episode.
Yeah, I thought
where are they?
I thought they were in the US. I was like, wow, there's so many beautiful terrains across the US. And I'm like, we're now going to Sydney. I'm like, raw.
I genuinely was like, oh, did they just fly to Sydney for one? I was like, no, this is where they've been the whole time. Where a group of people go to Australia and they have a series of challenges. And there is one person in the group who is the mole. And that means that they are actively working against the group to lose. So for a challenge, you might win some money, and it's the mole's job to minimise how much money you win. At the end of every challenge, they then have to do this quiz in which they have to answer questions about who they think the mole is. And if you are close to... Basically, if you answer it so that it's close to the mole, you're safe. But if you answer it so it's close to the wrong person, you go home.
Yes, because basically the person who has the most incorrect answers go home.
Yeah.
So therefore, if you're backing the wrong mole, you're going to be wrong in general.
Yes. So we join these group of Americans who are dumped in the... I found it really funny that the first episode is them sort of dumped in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
But they're all coming from these different directions, like, oh, where are you? I was like, well, surely someone drove you here.
Yeah, come on.
You weren't to just just appear.
Unless they were blindfolded as they were
maybe.
driven. It was giving me I'm a Celebrity moment.
Yeah, it was. I thought that people were going to parachute in anyway. They have a challenge and they have to split into groups and they have to go and retrieve some items that are hidden in this forest. And one of the items is in a river, one of them is up a tree, and one of them is like buried in the ground. So the group split off, and here you start to see like the people who are gonna come in, like who are gonna end up being big characters. Like Will's group is Will, Avery, Cassie, and Dom.
Okay.
In that first group.
Yeah.
And they managed to get their thing down off the tree because Avery like abseils or something, and like Will was massive and could like hoist them up the tree.
Yeah.
They get their items. They get all their items, so it's like 30k. And I remember like watching them, and I was like, "Wow, these guys are gonna make it to the end," because they just seem to be like they worked really well together. Great teamwork, some characters developing. Like Dom's like this sort of fun, like hype man.
Yeah. Everyone seems to love Dom.
Everyone loves. I mean, I love Dom.
I love Dom too.
I really like Dom. He was lovely. Will is like their like
Thor.
Yeah, he's their Thor. They literally call him Thor.
Big guy, muscles.
Like in that first episode,
Long hair.
I was a bit neutral about him. I was like, I don't know if he's gonna be so competitive that he ruins the game.
Yeah.
Or if he's going to be a team player.
Yeah, because he came across very arrogant throughout the whole series, and almost a bit like sometimes he acted a bit childish and gave like temper tantrums when he wasn't part of different challenges or wanted to control things because he felt like if he wasn't involved they wouldn't win. So I got that impression from him. But yeah, in episode 1 that didn't come out as much, but throughout the episodes it did really punch through.
Avery, I thought, oh, she seems like a nice girl. She says she's a gamer. I wasn't expecting Avery to become as competitive as she was based on that first episode. She seemed like a team player. But actually Avery, I will say this, of everybody on the show, was the most strategic. Well, I don't think Will had a strategy other than making his answers as broad as possible in the quizzes.
Yeah.
And earning as much money as he could.
Yeah.
That was his game.
Yeah. Whereas Avery was like, I'm gonna get information about each one of the contestants and start to piece together who I think the mole is, and then also hold that information and not disclose it with other members, especially some of her alliances such as Pranav, which we haven't gone into the other teams. But yes, she was
Yeah,
strategic.
and she would also go on to start trying to convince people that she was a mole.
Yeah.
So that they would vote for her in the quiz, and then they would go home. And that ended up...
Almost backfiring on
No,
her.
and it also is what ended up being the undoing of Pranav, I think.
Yeah.
Which is quite shitty because they had an alliance. But
yeah.
we'll come back to that. So that was the team that I thought, these guys are making it. This is our top 4.
Yeah.
Then we had Joy's team, and where to start with Joy? She comes across as like a, middle... It's hard to say. Would you say like 40 is middle-aged?
Yeah.
Okay, so middle-aged, like mother.
You thought she was 40-ish?
She seemed like a woman who had like teenage children.
For real?
Don't you have to be quite grown to be a pilot as well? Like, isn't that a long time in school?
Not particularly. I think you can be a young pilot.
I thought she was late 30s, early 40s, based on the way she was later on in the series when her and Cassie were on that task together.
Yeah.
It felt very much like a mother talking to a child.
Yeah.
I feel like she often spoke to team members as if they were children.
Yeah. She definitely had a domineering personality and presence about her.
And she started to do something very wild towards the end of the series where she would come into their dinners and be like, I have something to say. You, Avery, are the mole.
You, Jacob,
are the mole.
I don't trust you. You have been doing slide things during this game, and I think you're the mole. I'm like, why are you making this moment again?
But
to
you
influence
know
people?
what? Yes, I just said that Avery was the most strategic. I actually think Joy was being the most strategic.
But also
because that was very messy. And I remember the first time she did it, I was like, wow, Joy is a nightmare. The second time she did it, I was like, oh no, she's trying to influence people with these outbursts. Because she's basically saying, I'm voting for Jacob.
Yeah.
I'm going to vote for Jacob. And then she probably gets in there and does broad as can be.
Yeah.
And then survives. And then you, if you've listened to her, end up going home.
Yeah, that's true. And I think one thing I noticed about Joy, in comparison to everyone else, is that she was very determined to make as much money as possible. Which I think, of course, is the aim of the game. Yeah, I think she was.
So remember when she...
I know when she made the $25,000 bet. It's the only time when everyone was like, she lost money, 25,000, and they kept on always going back to that moment.
Was an insane
it
amount of
was
money.
insane and it was stupid. But I feel like throughout the course of the episode, she definitely showed ways of her earn extra money for the jackpot. And I think towards the end, she was the one that was like, the money. Will did the exact same thing as well. Like, he was very like gung-ho about like making as much money as possible. Didn't want to lose money for the jackpot. He was like penalizing and penalizing people that made stupid mistakes. But I got that from her a lot. So I felt like, I thought she was the mole because, I think I almost confused the premise thinking that the mole will win money.
Yeah, I think, what isn't the idea that if you don't name the mole does win money?
Yeah, so I assumed that the mole would win some money. So that's why I thought, oh, she's so eager about the money. She must be the mole. Same thing with Will as well. But there was something very interesting about her presence. I really enjoyed her on the show.
Joy is... So in that first episode, Joy says, I am a pilot. Give me the map and I can get us to where we need to go. And when I tell you that group walked around in a circle for hours, they didn't bring a single thing back. Not even, we got one thing, we didn't get the other. They never made it anywhere near their destination. No. Like, when at the end they had like the map of where they were and where the thing was, and it was nowhere near close to each other. And at that point, I think it was Osei who said, is she supposed to be a pilot? I said, she's lying to us.
Because that's the whole thing about the mole. The mole is there to sabotage any task and cause failure. So if anyone does even any silly mistake, you're the mole. And that's what that is a common thread throughout the whole thing. Your hand could have slipped at one moment where something you were supposed to catch and you didn't do it and you made a mistake and it was on by accident and you're now the mole.
You're the mole.
You're the mole.
And that's why it's so fun because every episode I was with you. My person who I was like, from episode 1, when they came back, so the other team also came back, and I think Jacob was on that team, the water team, where they had made it to where it was, and then just sort of walking around it, couldn't find it for ages, and basically had to open like a pack that gave them a clue, and then they were able to bring their thing back, but it was like, instead of it being 20k, it was 10k because they'd opened this thing. Anyway, that group comes back, and the only people that don't bring anything back and therefore don't have any money is Joy's team.
Yeah.
And Osei is really upset about it. More upset than I think the other people in that team. Because I guess everybody else was just thinking, we have some money because the others got money.
Yeah.
But he was like, Joy messed this up for us. And nobody's making her accountable. And I was like, you're right. Joy is the mole.
Yeah.
Joy is the mole. And when I tell you, every episode of this show reinforced to me that Joy was the mole.
Yeah, her behaviour, her sketchiness at times, even her, again, as I mentioned, the eagerness for more money just made me feel like she's definitely must be the mole. And that I was telling you offline, I was like, I was 100% convinced that Joy was a producer plant, that she works in production, because when she's like, I'm a pilot, I'm like, no, you've been fed information.
She was scared of heights.
Production. Yeah.
She was scared of heights. She couldn't read a map. She had literally 0 skills.
Yeah.
The only thing that Joy was good at was bluffing.
Yes.
Because there was one challenge where they had to protect. Basically, they were like, they had all been given food. Some people had, or one person, I can't remember. It was only 2 people who were sat on a bomb had actual food.
Yeah.
Everyone else had some sort of gross variation of that food, but their food all looked the same. So you had to guess who the people were that had the bad food.
Or the spicy food or something like that, yeah.
And so but the longer you stayed at the table, the more you could win some money. So everyone was trying to pretend or trying to present themselves as not the person who had the spicy food. But it was Joy and Will at the end. And Will actually was having the good food.
Yeah.
Joy was spooning vinegar straight into her mouth like it was nothing.
She was good at bluffing, absolutely was.
A great liar.
And also knew the right times to pull the lever of being a team player versus being for herself. Like when she did the 25,000 bet, that was for herself.
So we should probably explain.
Yes.
At one point, the group, I think they've done quite badly in a challenge.
Yeah.
And so, in order to save yourself from elimination, you were allowed to bet on who you thought had opened an envelope prior to that challenge.
And in that envelope included like
information about it,
information and something that will reveal
which ended up
secrets.
not being useful to the people who
Nothing.
opened it at all because they went home. But everyone goes in there, they're making bets like, I bet 1k of my money, I bet 7k of my money. Joy was like, I bet the entire pot.
$25,000.
$25,000. And if she was right, she would get an exemption from elimination. If she was wrong, nothing would happen. She would still be up for it, and they would still have that money. Joy guessed that it was Greg, who was also a kind of confusing character on there. You were like, this person is in the running to be the mole, potentially, especially because he opened the file. And that felt like a very mole thing to do. She bet it was Greg, and Greg had in fact opened the document, so her bet won. They lost 25. But Joy luckily couldn't go home that week, and it was a group's reaction where they were like 25k. Who would bet 25k? And Joy just sitting there like,
uh-oh.
just sitting there being like, hello, no, oh no,
oh no,
and
oh no.
Everyone is like, I hope to God you're wrong. I hope to God you're wrong because 25k is all of our money.
It's a lot of money.
And I feel like, this is what I liked about The Mole, and what I would have done differently as a producer. I would have kept those cameras rolling.
Yeah.
At the point where they knew that they lost that 25k. Because you have a conversation where it's like, damn. And that is the extent of it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
You want to see people throw hands.
Yeah. If I was on that show, I feel like that's probably why I couldn't be on the show. Because one, people would know I wasn't the mole immediately because I would be freaking out.
Yeah.
Do you know the stuff that we've had to do to get that money? And you've just gone.
Wait, again. Not chill. Chill.
Oh, I'm a competitive person. I'm a competitor. In a competition, I'm not chill. And I put my hands up to that.
In a competition where there's money involved, this is the whole thing is supposed to be like life-changing money. And actually, he ended up going with $101,000. That's a lot of money, and it could have been more. But
yes, if fucking Joy had spent 25k in it.
There were so many instances where they could have got definitely 150 plus.
For sure. And there were some challenges where they came back completely empty-handed.
Zero. And they could be like, you had the chance to win $20,000 to the jackpot, and you came back with nothing. But
the way that would get my morale would be I'd be like, let me off the show.
I have to be honest, you're right. It was quite tame when it came to the reactions, because all I wanted to see was shade. You know, perfectly honest, if you're in a group setting where people are doing things that are sabotaging,
stop bullying her.
Yeah, not bullying, but
no.
But I want an argument. Like, Too Hot to Handle is another similar experiment where you're in this environment as a group where you're actually supposed to be working together to save money or to prevent spending money and adding money to your grand prize. In this case, they're supposed to be remaining celibates.
Well, they can no, they can't even kiss, can they?
They can't kiss, no. So no sexual interactions of any kind. Anyway, anytime something happens, everyone's like, who did it though? Why? And there's a whole moment about it, and that's what makes the show interesting, because everyone who does it and breaks the rules, they know that there's going to be consequences, and they know they're going to irritate the team, but they don't care anyway because they're too horny.
And I just wish there was so many points that I wish they'd given more space to people's reactions. So equally, Dom, who I said I thought was going to be in the top 4, in like episode 4 is just like brutally cut from the show.
Yeah.
And everyone at the table is like, people are crying. Yeah. I was like, it would have been great if we'd had like an extra 10 minutes of like people being like, what the actual hell just happened?
No, but I feel like we got that savage moment in the next episode.
Oh, and that's what I mean. That's why that was the point where I was like, this show is doing God's work. They are then like, and I feel like it's so painful for him as well, because they've got to get him hype as well. Yeah. Get him hype. Dom is going home. He's in the cab. He stops in the middle of nowhere. The group are inside of a like tavern or something, and the game basically tells Dom that he has a chance to come back into the game.
Yeah, after being eliminated.
After being eliminated, but he needs to work with the group to work out the answer to this code. He radios into the group in a tavern. Guys, I have a chance to come back. You've got to help me figure out this thing. And at first, Will's like, absolutely. And then the others are like, can we just have a conversation really quick? So like Will turns off the walkie-talkie, and what was her name?
Sandy. Sorry.
Sandy, yes, Sandy is like, if he comes back, he has a chance at the pot of money.
Yeah.
Are you willing to risk your access to winning by bringing back Dom? And Will's like, yes, absolutely. One other person, I think it was maybe Cassie, which makes sense now.
Yeah.
Was like, yeah, bring him back. And slowly everyone else was like, no.
And every time he was on the intercom going, guys, I just need this extra answer to break this code. Guys, help me. And then they just turned around and said, I'm sorry, Dom, we can't help you.
Do you know what was crazy though? He could still complete the challenge.
Yes, I wish
and
he did.
He came down to the answer.
Yes.
And one other thing. Had he chosen the right answer, imagine him coming back to the group when they'd all said, we don't want you.
Oh my god, that's when I'd be like, now hands, throw their hands, come on.
That's what I would have said, give this show a BAFTA.
Exactly.
Give this show a BAFTA. This is BAFTA award-winning drama. That's what I mean about, like, I've been talking about them more because I'm like, in terms of like knowing how to turn the dial on drama. The show was so good. Like, I never saw that coming.
No.
I did not see that coming, and I thought, this is brilliant, because I think the thing that the show banks on, which I really like, is human nature in a competitive setting. And they didn't ask that group to say no to their friend. They said, you have an opportunity to bring a friend back.
Yeah.
Just know that he's now then back in the competition.
Exactly. Especially the day before when you guys were crying your eyes out.
Crying for him.
And I felt bad because like Dom by that point probably was one of my favourites. I didn't
deserve to go.
Yeah, and I didn't think he was a mole, but I thought that he was a great team player to get them forward. Especially since a lot of those challenges were like physical or needed like, you need to be someone who's mentally strong. And Dom was like, he knew what he was doing.
He seemed like a really good boy.
Yeah. But
he would have made. I feel like he would have made it to the end. But the issue with the show is the other component. It's two components. It's how well you do in the challenge and how well you are getting a scent of them all. And I don't think he was really watching people like that.
No.
So it would, and if it wasn't that episode, it would have been the next one.
Yeah. No, it's true. Because also there was two things. Firstly, it got to probably towards the end of the series that I started to understand that the tactic was not about you pretending not to be the mole, was actually to try and confuse people to think that you are the mole, which was like the complete like mind twist that you weren't expecting. Because if you're on a show that's like trying to guess who this like fictional mole or traitor is, everyone and their mother doesn't want to be a traitor, so they'll be like, no, it's not me, it's not me, it's not me. But then towards the end, it's like create confusion, make them think it's not, make them think it's me because I know it's not me, so they'll get the answer wrong, and if they get the answer wrong, therefore they go. So I just thought it was a very interesting premise, and I liked that it was a new twist to how the game could have been played, and two, also it made it very clear the people that stayed longer, like an Avery or Will or Joy, they understood that premise very, very early on. They gained the information because you actually have to be close with your competitors. Keep your friends close and your enemies even closer. Like, these are your enemies in this sense, and they were very close to the different people, trying to get information or being very observant, and that's what helped them stay longer. Whereas some people were just focusing on the challenge and like getting through the challenges only, but forgetting that actually this is not about
like observation.
Yeah, exactly, it's not just about the challenge. The challenges is there to help in any sense to feed the prize fund, but actually the dynamic within the game and the challenges that is going to help you progress further in the competition. And then the second thing I wanted to flag was the other savage moment, which was Kezi, who, spoiler alert, is the mole.
Yeah, it wasn't Joy in the end.
It wasn't Joy.
Joy made it all the way to the end, though. And I think she made it all the way to the end because people really did think she was the mole.
Yeah. Honestly.
There were so many things that she did. We'll come back to your point, but there were so many things. I had two things to say, but there was another point where Joy did something and I was like, this woman is out of her mind. When they had so they had a challenge where they were in a prison and everybody had like, so apart from one person, everyone had the ability to get out of the room. Like, their key was in their room in some way. There was only one person who had to like someone had to come out of theirs, get their key to let them in. Because even one person had a key outside of their room, but it was outside of their door and they could get it. Joy was like, oh, I'm too short to get my key.
Oh my god.
And that's when I was like, oh, she has to be the mole.
Yeah.
She was like, I'm too short, I can't reach it. They're like, okay, could you jump? She was like, no. She didn't even try to jump. She said, I can't jump. And just sat in the room. Be like, guys, can you let me out? How is anyone else going to let you out? You've got your key inside of the room. I've never been more frustrated watching that scene. And I thought, Joy doesn't want you to win. Joy wants you guys to lose. Joy is the mole.
No, she just plays a very smart game. Or a very stupid game.
I'm
so confused.
And I hope they do like a reunion. I know that they won't because it's not that kind of show.
No.
If they did a reunion, I would just love to know what Joy, like having watched herself on the show, like what was her game plan? Because there were some times, and this was the issue with people halfway through trying to convince people that they were the mole. In order to convince people you're the mole, you have to actively destroy your chances of making money.
Yeah.
And that feels so counterintuitive because you do want the money because you're actually not the mole. And there was one challenge in particular where Avery decided this is the challenge where I'm going to convince everyone I'm the mole. And her tardiness, like she was dropping pieces of equipment that they needed. Yeah. They ended up not winning any money that challenge. Yeah. And that was a challenge immediately after Joy had wasted all of their money. So there was a good 3 or 4 episodes where they just kept on not getting any money. And I was like, what if this show ends? And the winner ends with nothing? That
would be horrible. And it's like, again, maybe that's what the producers were hoping for. Because
like, damn, we can't make a second season because we gave all of the next season budget to these people. I was like, 101k is not enough money to make a TV show, by the way.
But I mean, that's why I find the premise so interesting because it's like, like you said, it's so counterintuitive. You want to make money, but then you also want to deceive your team players. You want to be a team player, but also a saboteur. Like, you don't know what you want,
and I'm telling you,
you have to play so many different roles.
If I was on that show and you weren't the mole, but you were losing us money,
you get me out.
I'm kicking off. I'm kicking off. Like, what the hell was you doing? What the hell was you doing earlier?
That's what I felt about Kezzy. Because the whole time I was like, this girl is she's just not the sharpest tool in the toolbox.
No, she's so clever because she really just comes across as a little bit ditzy.
A little bit, yeah. Like, but everyone still loved her. It's like, no, Kezzy, we trust her. It came to this challenge where they were sent to this warehouse and they're all chained together and there's a box that has a key where they can unlock the padlock so that each one of them can be freed so that they don't stay in this warehouse, because basically if they don't free themselves in the time that they have, they will then have to stay the night in this cold warehouse. So everyone, of course, wants to go to the beautiful hotel that's been already kind of prepared for them. So the whole point is they'll be given, I think, a minute or so where the box will open where the key is available, and each teammate will go and pick up the key to unlock themselves. But also in that box is an exemption card from being eliminated from the next round. So, of course, everyone has this predicament. You either choose good or you choose evil. You choose good.
And they also had to choose the order in which they would go as well.
Yes, exactly. So the order was dependent on who they trusted the most to, one, take the key and not the exemption card to unlock themselves, and hence start the domino effect of unlocking everyone else. So everyone was like, first person, Kezzy. We trust Kezzy. Kezzy. We love Kezzy. Kezzy's gonna do it for us. Come on, Kezzy, you can do it. And like, also by this point, Kezzy had been appearing a bit of like the weak link, like not always the sharpest tool.
She's not the lead in any of the challenges.
Sometimes she has made mistakes, but she's caused a bit of suspicion, but not enough for people to be like, she's the mole. So they were like, Kezzy, we trust you. Let's go. So Kezzy first. The box opens. Kezzy puts her hand in, picks the key first, and I was like, she's gonna do it. She unlocks herself. I'm like, you see, Kezzy's gonna do it. Like, let's go on, let's crack on. Then she puts the key back in the box, and then looks at all the contestants as they're all shackled in their locks, and then turns back to the box and picks up that exemption card and walks off. She barely even looks at them.
She doesn't. She grabs the card and
she's like, peace. And then she was like, I'm gonna go. And then the warehouse closes and all of them stay the night.
They're all just standing there as well.
They're shocked.
Smacked.
It's so shocked. I was shocked too. I was like, wow.
I was
savage.
Too. And when she was in the cab just being like, anyone else in my place would have taken the card, I was like, I don't think that's
they would.
True.
Because as soon as they did the challenge, Avery was like, guys, let's unlock ourselves. No one take the exemption card and let's go to this hotel. Because by that point, they had like another back-to-back challenge.
Yeah.
So I was feeling for them actually. I had a question. We could talk about this or the behind the scenes because I had some questions. But I was feeling for them that they must be so exhausted. All they want to do is sleep in a really nice bed. For goodness sake. I believed them when they were like, guys, let's all stand together. Let's all work together. Let's unlock these padlocks and let's go to the hotel. And then Kezzy was like, nah, I'm going to go and sleep. You guys have a good night.
You guys do what you guys need to do. I'm going to do what I need to do.
Peace. So that's when I was like, wow, no one can be trusted. No. And also like, Kezzy, that's when my suspicion started to raise a little bit. But the Joy suspicion and the Will suspicion was way too loud.
See, I think it's so interesting. I was not suspicious of Will at all. I feel like, so in the first episode, once they have brought the money back, they have to leave the goods that they've collected on a plane and just sleep through the night. They sleep through the night, they wake up in the morning, they go into the plane to get the goods, and the goods are gone.
Yeah.
Everyone's freaking out. Who could have done this? Who could have done this? Nobody knows. They go into the house where they're going to stay and do their sort of quiz. And they're like, oh, does anyone know who took the package? And everyone's like, no, we don't know, but it was our only task. Like, how did we mess this up? And they're like, oh, we have footage. And they roll the footage. I was like, not them revealing the mole first episode.
I was like, why is this show going? Yeah.
Because then I was like, oh, maybe it's that like every episode, the show tells you you're the mole for this episode. Yeah. You're the mole for the show. I was like, well, that's interesting. But Because then, theoretically, I think then you could vote out the mole. Because I feel like the issue was that the mole could never be voted out.
Yeah.
So even if people voted for the mole, they would stay and the mole would stay.
Yeah.
It's very confusing. But anyway, they were like, oh, we have footage of what happened to the package. And they roll the footage and it's Will collecting the packages. And everyone's just like...
Traitor.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
And he's just sitting there. And he's like, well, you know, I had to. Because the game gave us a challenge and they said if I could steal it and no one notices, we're going to double the money. And everyone's like, yeah, Will! Like, everyone's so excited. And I thought, it would be crazy for Will to now then be the mole.
Yeah,
because the red herring you really red herringed us with him.
But that made me think, like, how easy for Will to be fooled in this way and how close he was for production to be like, Will, I want you to steal the bag.
He said there was a note in there. So it was just that he saw the note. Could have been any one of them that saw it.
That's from that point I still had a suspicion of him because I thought there may be some cahoots with production. I
think, I don't know. So from that point I thought it's not going to be Will. But I also felt like his personality, I think we would have known if it was Will.
Yeah, that's true. I think, again, very arrogant, and I think he believes in his own hype.
Yeah, and I feel like he was just too, like, I recognised the competitiveness in him as just a person who's competitive.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But I don't think if they cast Will as the mole, they would have found out he was a mole within 3 episodes because he would have been so competitive about them not making money.
Yeah, no, that's true. But also, his arrogance and competitive, towards the end I was like, is it me or am I finding this attractive?
Yeah, no, it was hot.
Until
it was hot. I wasn't gonna lie. It was hot.
It was.
There wasn't a lot of eye candy on the show. No.
And my thoughts, even though I don't think they really went into like the romance angle, I thought there was something going on between Will and Avery. But that was just me guessing because, again, as someone who loves reality TV and just loves to watch shows, I'm always looking for like who likes who, and like I wanted to see who could be a potential relationship, but that's not the focus of the show. There was too many other storylines going on.
I think it's really interesting that you thought there was something going with Avery and Will. Because I thought Joy wanted to get in Will's pants. The whole way she was like, I'm keeping my eyes on Will. I think he's the mole. Every week, regardless of what happened in the challenge, I think Will's the mole. He got us all this money, but he could still be the mole. I was like, Joy, I think you just want to look at Will.
I don't think so.
I think you're a little bit titillated by Will.
I think the two of them always knew, Joy and Will, they were on an equal level.
She thought he was the mole every week.
Yeah, and she thought she was as well until towards the end.
Yeah.
But so I just thought they were like, in terms of competitors, that they were neck and neck. So that's why I thought there was that tension between them, because you never really saw them in a challenge until the finale. So
yeah, there was one challenge. There was one other challenge. And this was a challenge that I found to be like, this is absolutely impossible. They were never going to win this. But the one where they're like, some of them are on the boat, some of them are in a plane.
Yes.
Greg is like, I go scuba diving all the time. I'm a scuba diving pro. Greg then doesn't get in the water at all. So that's when I was like, you must be the mole, because it's a similar thing to Joy, where Joy was like, oh, I'm a pilot, but you can't do any pilot-y things. You're saying you go scuba diving, you're a professional scuba diver, and you didn't get in the water. You're sending people who can't swim to go looking in the water. So anyway, what they had to do was go underwater and just like search for these boxes while the other team brought them the equipment to build this like inflatable raft to pick up these boxes. Yeah. They maybe got 1 box out of 6. It was so bad. Will jumped in the water because he was like, nah, you guys are jumped in the water, cut his foot, they had to take him out.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is the closest to like mole-esque behaviour he could have done, because now he's like
injured,
pulled himself out of the challenge. But I was like, Greg, you're standing in the boat looking down at them being like, go down further. Go in the water, you're a professional diver. Why is Joy the one diving? And that was the first episode I saw Joy really being like, we got to get this money.
But she kept that energy all the way through. That means
she felt guilty because she just spent 25,000.
I will also flag, I did go online. Joy is actually a pilot. She's a commercial
co-pilot.
Airline pilot.
Junior pilot.
She's not a junior pilot.
Is there a picture of her?
There's a picture of her in the plane.
I could do that. Come on, Photoshop. Babe, I don't believe ya. I'm just saying this. Joy, you are an absolutely brilliant character.
Absolutely.
Just think you're an incredible...
Riveting.
Your way your mind works, I've never seen anything like it. Would I get in a plane you would fly? No.
Probably not, no.
I would not.
Just on your direction.
Just on the way you conduct yourself?
No.
I'm scared.
No, but I found her so riveting. I found her very interesting. If it wasn't Kessie,
entertaining.
Yeah, she was absolutely.
She was maybe the only character that was, because everybody else really was just trying to do the challenges.
Yeah. Whereas she understood like how to bluff. She knew how to like make the drama moments. That's why I thought she was part of the production team.
That's why I thought she was the mole.
Yeah. The other things like the behind the scenes aspects, or the production angles that I wanted to talk about was the host, because I had to go and Google the host because I didn't know who she was. She's not like a familiar face in the UK. And she looked like has shows on like MSNBC. Like she was giving me news reporter.
Yeah, she was actually.
Yeah. Which for this type of show, I think it works in this sense because this is a show that is like Survivor. But in the same breath, I had two thoughts. One, I thought it was quite interesting her dynamic with the cast. Like they really looked at her like a confident and a friend almost. I mean, that could be things like.
Did you get the impression that they maybe cut some stuff? Because that was the impression I was getting. Because when she would walk people out.
Yeah.
It was such a rude show that they'd just be like, "You're going home. This is happening now."
And no one can hug you. There's no conversation. There's no like, "Oh, wish you all the best, guys." Out. Yeah.
They would always be like, "Oh, I'm really gonna miss you."
Yeah.
It's been so like you've made this experience so fun. I was like, I have to assume that like there are more interactions in the interactions that we're getting to see.
I'm hoping so. But I still felt like, as a host, even though she had that great camaraderie with the cast, she didn't give the stakes, a high stakes angle that I would expect the host to kind of like navigate for us. So I don't know how the best way to put it, but like I just felt like I could have got more drama from her to kind of really heighten like, guys, if you guys don't do this, you're leaving with nothing, and the music's like ba-bam.
Yeah, but see, that to me feels very like campy 90s version of like Fort Boyard.
Yes, that's what. Yeah,
like, and that guy's literally wearing a leather. he's like his sexy magician who's there to be like, "Oh, good luck," you know. What I mean? Like, it's just like needlessly distracting. Yeah. Because some of those challenges were boring as hell. Unless it was the ones where there's spiders or rats or whatever. Yeah. Like it was just you being like, "I've got the star." Like, "Oh, true. Sorry, time's up. You're locked in the room." Like, you're like, "Oh, okay. Damn. Bye. Bye, friend. Bye." Fort Boyard was a great show.
It was a great show. It's a throwback to listeners if you remember it.
Or like The Raven.
Oh yes, Raven. Yes. I just don't
know. Guy in a weird sexy magician outfit. There's something about
sexy magician.
They're just like sort of weird magician-y kind of guys.
But I mean,
who take their show really... Even Crystal Maze.
Yeah.
That guy's weird.
But maybe...
He's a weird modern magician.
I mean, maybe for me, I just expected that for this type of show that you have someone this extravagant character.
So who would you cast as the host?
So, if I was going to pick a host, I've got two options.
Go on.
One, Rylan.
Would he have to be as serious as this woman, or can it be Rylan as Rylan?
Rylan as Rylan.
Right.
Yeah. The second one was Alison Hammond from This Morning.
I love Alison Hammond. Alison Hammond would be brilliant, actually.
I think she would be
dying laughing
absolutely.
When Joy took that 25k, she's like, LOL, you guys have fucked it. You guys have fucked it. Joy!
A whole you. She also will be, she'll be comedic. She'll give the reactions that the audience will be given. Plus, she'll also cause chaos. Remember that? Have you seen that news report where she's like doing the weather in Liverpool, and then so she's doing the weather, and then they create this like floaty floats in Liverpool, and there's these hot guys who are like standing in like where island is supposed to be, and so she tries to jump over the channel to get to island. But they're over this dock, so they're on water. And as she's jumping over, one of the guys falling in the water, and she's just like, "Oops, back to the studio."
Anyway.
So anyway, I think there should be a great host. So
yeah, I think she'd be a really good host. I think I think tonally the show didn't necessarily get it right.
No.
But they needed someone, I think, who, yeah, he could bring out the, like, oh, are you guys going to let Joy take all your money and not say nothing?
Yeah.
But also someone who's going to deliver the challenges. Because
Yeah.
that was the other thing. Like, I think Alex was very good at being like, this is what you need to do in this challenge.
I agree. And then
Each challenge. But you're right, when it came to, like, now it's time for the dinner, you're like, the tone at this dinner also now feels really formal.
Yeah.
Whereas I think it's like, hey guys,
yeah.
welcome back from the challenge. I see some of you want some money and some of you didn't.
How do you feel about that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So but I'm not saying that she was a bad host. I just felt like I wish we got more from her as a host. Or like, is she the right kind of host for this show? I mean, she's definitely not gonna be the host of Love Island. Like, that's not the kind of show.
I think it's a combination of things. I think it's like the show not being sure how to use the host.
Yeah.
I feel like the show didn't really fully utilize her as a host.
Yeah.
She felt a lot like a game explainer.
Yeah. I'm perfectly honest, you may not even need a host for these type of shows. You can have someone who's doing voiceover.
Yeah, but someone's got to tell them. Like, someone's,
Yeah,
I feel
but-
like, I
no.
like the touch of someone being there telling them what the challenge is.
Okay. Someone could tell them the challenges, but really and truly, you can have the producer who's telling them what they need to do, but then you have like a voiceover, and the person will explain to you, the viewer, what the challenge is, show someone as a demo doing it, and then just cut to them trying to do the challenge.
Like Michelle Buteau on The Circle.
Exactly. That's the perfect example. So for me, this type of show doesn't necessarily need one. And it's nice that they did, and I understand the background of picking someone from a news background, just because of the heightened.
I think she just wanted to go to Australia.
I just want a holiday.
Yeah. They're like, do you want to host this thing? You're like, oh, no, not really. It's not really my thing. Like, it's in Australia. I'm like, okay.
Maybe I'll consider it.
I actually do have some space in my calendar I found. Let's do it. Like,
yeah. But I also love the warmth that she gave to the contestants, because the other key thing I want to mention about the behind the scenes stuff. Yeah, she was definitely a person. She wasn't like, what's her name from the ex-host of Love Island, where she would just come every now and again and be like, hey guys.
Yeah, I know who you mean. I can't remember her name.
Yeah.
We've deleted her.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like, oh, hey guys, okay, go around the fire pit, use your phones and tell each other who's going to be eliminated. Like, it's not that coldness that, sometimes some hosts have with the contestants. Actually, she felt like she was part of the challenge because she's probably on holiday with them too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel like, I tell you, the person has to straddle this line of, because they have to trust her enough that when she's doing stuff like being like, oh, you can buy Clue for 10k.
Yeah.
Then you're like, oh, she's my mate.
Yeah.
Rather than thinking, wait a minute, I won't buy shit from you because no, I don't. I'm having less money in the pot.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. I don't know. Yeah, you're right. I feel like I just feel like they just didn't utilize or really think about what they could have the host doing aside from just describing the challenges. But I don't think she was necessarily a bad host.
No. I just think that maybe for me, I was expecting something different. But the other key thing I wanted to say about the production aspect was towards the end, I was getting really concerned about the actual contestants. Like, I hope they had breaks during this because the challenges weren't easy. They were quite strenuous, and I'm surprised that no one got seriously injured.
Be interesting to know what the shooting schedule was because that could have just been 2 weeks.
That's true, and that would be so exhausting.
Definitely the latter challenges. I was like,
especially when they had to have formal training. When the mountain one where they were climbing over that mountain, I was like, oh, well, the guys are now having a formal briefing. I'm like, that should be a whole day briefing to climb across a whole mountain, abseil across it.
Yeah, that challenge, the snow one. I was like, these are things that honestly, I obviously they would have made them fill out so many forms and done physicals and checks and stuff, but can you assure my safety in this moment? Because that mountain one, when they're abseiling across,
that wind was blowing,
and the wind was blowing, I was like, for measly 25, because at that point the jackpot wasn't even that big.
No.
For 50k, I'm not putting my life in danger like this.
I have to be thanking God that no one got hurt.
Literally.
Honestly.
Well, Will did hurt his foot that time.
Yeah, but minor. No one dropped down the mountain.
That's true, no one dropped down the mountain. It did not look safe.
No, it didn't.
It did not look safe.
It didn't. But yeah, everyone came out scot-free and safe, and the mole was revealed.
The snow one as well. at the end, Will looked like he wasn't going to make it.
Yeah, he looked stressed.
He was like sunburnt from the snow.
Yeah.
He looked like dehydrated, exhausted.
Because also those blocks, I cannot imagine them being light. They weren't light at all. But that being said, he should have just dropped one.
No, because he was in it. He looked like Cassie. He was like,
Yeah, Cassie was like, I'm gonna cause chaos.
She actually says in that episode, that's when I was like, maybe Cassie is the mole.
Yeah.
She was like, oh, I've been taking blocks off, and Joy doesn't even notice. I was like,
yeah, but that's to me. By the time she took the third block off and there was nothing on there, I was like, what are you dragging, Joy?
I can actually imagine after walking for like 8 hours or whatever, that you're just like focused on getting to the end. You're not even thinking about the stuff that you're dragging. You're just like, let's just make it to the end. Let's make it to the end, because we're already. They took a little bit longer to get to their blocks as well, so it's like we can't be the people that turn up and have nothing.
Yeah.
We've already got targets on our backs. Let's try and But Kelsey was like, I ain't doing shit.
Oh, because the minute she started dropping those blocks, I was like, this girl is out here for carnage.
She was. The worst thing about it was she's smiling, laughing
so much.
She was smiling, laughing the whole time. Of course, she was the mole. Looking back on it now, why are you so happy?
No. I hope, like, there was one thing I didn't feel like was answered. Like, does the mole get money? Because
no, I think the mole gets money if you don't vote for the mole. So had Will voted for Joy and Joy voted for Will,
okay,
which is what Joy did. So I'm telling you, she always thought he was the mole.
Yeah.
Cassie would have won that money.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I thought there was something going on between Will and Cassie because he was constantly being like, "Hey guys, leave her alone."
Ooh.
I was like, she's the weakling.
She was, but everyone was trying to protect Kazi. I was like, what's going on? Like, is there something that we don't know?
Maybe she's spinning around everyone.
I don't.
Maybe she's smooching Joy, smooching Will. Being like,
I love how this is all allegedly.
Obviously,
allegedly, because we do not know any of this stuff. But that was the one thing that I know. Again, the production schedule must have been busy. The editing must have been really packed with all the storylines. But I really wish it, imply some of the romance.
I definitely when Will wins and he hugs Cassie, I was like trying to be like, what's the vibe of this hug? Like, you hug Joy, yeah, sure, whatever. Slightly longer hug with Cassie. Double hug as well at the end. So after because they do like a let's talk to the mole and be like, how did you do it?
That's the reunion.
Yeah, that was the reunion. Yeah. I like that moment. It was
nice.
Cute.
It's nice. Yeah.
And then after that, they're like, play credits or whatever, and everyone gets off and like pat people on the back, Cassie again. I was like,
that being said,
I'm like conspiracy theorist. I want the two of them to get married.
I would hug the person that made me win the money, because if I guessed that you were the mole and you were right and I was right, I would be hugging you like, because of you, I am.
It depends on the moment that I thought you were the mole. If up until the end I didn't think you were the mole, and then that last moment I said, I'm gonna guess it's you, and I won, I would feel some type of way about the fact that I trusted you up until this point, and it turned out that you was actively working against me. Because then I'd be like,
the mind games.
So there's another show on Channel 4 which I started watching because I realised like this specific type of show is incredibly entertaining to me. And it's one called I can't remember what it's called, but basically it's the same thing. There are 4 people, they tell a story, and then there's another person who has to guess which one of them is telling the truth.
Oh.
And I was like, I actually think, yes, I was wrong about Joy, but I'm telling you, even if I went back and watched that episode again with fresh eyes, the fact that you saw it as well, like, Joy was doing things that were mole-esque.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
More so than Cassie was. And then when you got rid of all the noise of all the other players and there was more of a spotlight, you were like, oh, that's it.
But also, I feel like as editors, and producers, they probably edited the show to bring out certain people so that you're not sure. Because I'm like, it got to the point towards the end of the series where I was like, I just don't know who's who. Like, I don't know who's the mole anymore, because I'm suspicious of Will, I'm suspicious of Joy, I'm suspicious of Kazi, I'm suspicious of Greg.
Yeah, I was suspicious of
Greg.
I'm
suspicious
I loved
Jacob.
Avery was
I was
obsessed with she was like, it's Jacob.
It's Jacob. It has to be Jacob. I love Jacob. But
they would cut to Jacob, and I'd be like, "Oh no, Jacob's
no, he's so sweet." And then when they found that he wasn't, and he was just like, "I'm just gonna go back home and just, fight some fires." I was like, "Oh."
The only time that Jacob used any of that firefighting skill was when they were on the mountain, and he went.
I was
like, "This is hot."
Yeah, mate, you could have done this for the whole series, and I'd be like,
Jacob is exactly what I mean about like my dumb husband. Like he just seems like just a nice, good energy to have around you. And he has a good job where I'm sure you can't be stupid with that, but it's a very different type of intelligence. And then, you know, we'd just be in this challenge, doing whatever, bumbling along, lovely Jacob. That's what I mean. That's what I want. Just someone who's just like, hey man, I'm just happy to be here.
Yeah.
I'm just having a good. Jacob definitely wasn't. Oh, I know who the mole is. No,
because when he was even in his leaving speech, he was just like, you know, I'm so happy to be there. I'm so glad that I've made this amazing friends. I've grown so much.
Came on the show to make friends. It's a show called The Mole. What are you talking about?
It's not called The Friends. Come on.
You've been keeping your eyes peeled for The Mole and being like, I've made some great friends.
No, it's like, I've learned some new skills.
The Mole is one of your friends.
He was like, did he say I had to get a passport to come?
Yeah, he'd never been out of the country.
Yeah, so so him, this was a holiday with some challenges, honestly.
I feel like he also thought like because of his job, he would be able to do, like, he'd be good in any physical challenge. But, like, if the show was a combination of, like,
will and
intelligence and strength, and he was sat in his prison cell in that challenge, just also being, like,
chilling. Honestly, chilling. But I think when he got there and realised he's not the big dog, because he had Will, he had Dom.
Yeah.
Like, you're not needed because you may have body, but these guys have body and mouth.
Joy and Jacob got paired up for one challenge and it was absolute chaos. And I was like, you two are so fucking stupid. I'm sorry. I would lose my mind. I'd be like, how the hell have you guys fucked up again? Between the two of you have one brain cell. I'd have been kicked off that show. I've been kicked off that show because I'm the kind of competitive that's like, you are actively losing me money now. Like, I don't mind if I play the game and I lose.
Basically, Will.
Yeah. I don't mind if I play the game and I lose. That's on me. I'm playing the game well, you're messing up, and now I lose. Like, do you remember that time we went in an escape room? Were you there for that?
No, I didn't come to the escape room.
We went in the escape room. And this is how I know I'm chill. We were in this escape room, and I was really just in there for the vibes.
Yeah.
Me and our friend, who I will call... What kind of girl's energy does she have? Tavi Schiffer. Do you remember Tavi Schiffer?
Oh, was she the neighbour?
No, she was the girl who wrote the book. She was a writer as well. And
did she work with Jess?
Her and Hannah went to university together.
Did she work with Hannah?
Did she work with Hannah? They went to university together.
Okay.
And she goes to her book signing.
Yeah.
And she's just like, wow, Tavi, like, it's incredible that you did this. She's like, yeah, I got hit by a car. And she basically written a memoir. It was about how she got hit by a car and then, like, anyway, it was bullshit, whatever it was. Yeah. And you're not supposed to think that she's a good writer at all. Like, it's garbage. Yeah. That's... Our friend is much better than that. But she has that, like, type A Tavi Schiffer energy. And for some reason, me and her were just, like, in there just vibing. It was like Harry Potter.
I'm surprised, because usually
we were just looking at the things. One of our other friends, who I would have used before I would have called her chill, I would not ever call her chill again.
She is not chill.
I would have called her chill. Who is she in Girls? She is Adam Driver's sister.
Yes.
Can't remember what her name is. I think this is all going to be so interesting for the audience.
Yeah. Adam Driver's sister. Yeah.
Adam Driver's sister, whose name I can't remember, but we should just look up so that we can call her by her actual name. Was getting very pissy.
I'm not surprised.
Like, they're like puzzles.
Yeah.
And we're like trying to figure out the puzzle. She's like, guys, if you actually listen, you'll hear that.
Oh, wait, it's just how she was. Oh my gosh.
I was looking at Tammy being like, this girl has one more time to tell me to listen before I punch her in the face.
And the sister was also called Caroline.
Okay. Yeah. But what I'm saying is, I was in an escape room with my two friends, Tavi and Caroline, and Tavi usually is like, I would say super type, like all of my friends are type A, she's super type A. Me and Tavi were just like...
having fun.
Yeah, because you go into the room, there's no rhyme or reason yet. Yeah. You have to like pick up things and figure out, and like, it takes you a while to even figure out what is a puzzle and what isn't. Caroline wouldn't even let me attempt the thing. She'd be like, can you just...
Can I ask you one last question? Was Caroline drinking?
Dead sober. We were all dead sober.
No!
We were dead sober. It was a mistake.
Because I've seen this more when she's like drunk, she's just a bit more like...
No, dead sober. She was like... to be fair, we'd been in the room for like 10-15 minutes.
Okay.
And like you're in there for 45 or whatever.
Okay.
And we were all just in there vibing.
Yeah.
And I just feel like she was like, enough! Are you guys gonna take this seriously or not? It was us, like our friendship group. Like some of us, not all of us, and then some of her other friends who also I think have not seen her like that. So everyone was like, what the fuck? So then it became a joke between us. Like being like she's being
that's supposed to unite the team.
Wild.
It
unite the team, but it was making people not want to do any work. Because I was like, first of all, stop talking to me like I'm stupid. Because I will say this: the puzzle that I was doing completely on guesswork.
Okay, joy. That was a joy.
And then ended up getting it right, but based on that made her like she was about to lose when she realised. She was like, oh, there's a list of ingredients and you're supposed to pour the exact amount of ingredients. And I said, why would I pour the exact amount of ingredients? I just added them all up and poured in that. And she was like, but what if the ingredients is the thing that makes the puzzle? And I was like, Caroline, be for real. Who is coming in here to taste this liquid at the end to make sure that it has this much strawberry or this much? Shut up. This is a puzzle. It's a math game. Add up the ingredients and then make sure you pour that much inside of the thing. Boom. I put it on the platform. I guess if it doesn't weigh properly, it doesn't open.
Yeah.
I put it on, it opened. And she was just looking at me and I was just looking at her like, you're not allowing me to enjoy this game at all.
Finished.
I want to just spend some time luxuriating. You're saying no. She was assigning people to puzzles.
Wow.
She was like, you're on this, you're on this, you're on this, you're on this. Then she would come round to everybody and basically do it for them.
As a chill person, I'm very glad I wasn't there.
And then one of the rooms for some reason had a massive spider in it. Because in Harry Potter there's a forest that has this like massive spider in it. So you went down into the room and like each room would have puzzles in it.
Yeah.
You got into this room, there was no puzzle in there, it was just a massive spider. I was like, well, this is horrible. And then our 45 minutes was up. And then
Did you guys escape?
No.
Oh, okay. Actually, yeah, from your story, it sounds like...
No, and I think she was like, either she went back again, or she was planning to go back again.
To go escape properly?
To do it properly.
Wow.
On her own. Like, she was just like, you guys are not taking... I mean, it was crazy. It was
I'm so surprised.
It was honestly crazy. It was so funny to me, because like, for me, I was like, let's just have a good time, have fun.
Yeah.
And she was like, no, this is business, baby. We're trapped in here. She's taking it very seriously. So... I said all this to say that I want to think I would be a Will on the mole, but maybe I'm a Joy. Maybe I'm not a team player. I don't like to be told what to do.
Yeah.
And I just leave me
and
I'll get it done. Yeah.
I feel like if I was on the show, I would want to have the mindset of a Joy and a Will, but I would actually be the
Joy. I think Joy will on. you'd be a good casting actually, but you're not a very good actor. So basically, I think you could do it, but nobody you know could be like. Do you think there's anyone in our immediate group of friends that if all of us were on this show and one of us was the mole, I know exactly who could play the mole and we wouldn't know. Because she is an actress. That's how that works.
Yeah, you know what?
She's the only person I think if she was a mole.
We have within our GIRLies, there is a friend who is an actress.
She's Elijah.
Yeah.
She's Elijah.
But you know what? I feel like I would have suspicions always of her. She would be like my Joy.
But I feel like she would just mind game convince you that you're having suspicions of her. Yeah. It's something that she can't.
It's hard. You know what? It's just such a fun game. I would love them to do an escape room like this. So
I think they should do an escape room experience.
Fun.
I went to a Stranger Things experience.
Oh, how was that?
They should it was fine. They should make a mole experience. Actually, it was really scary. Sorry, I'm going to put a warning out there for all of you guys thinking of going. There is a room where you have to wear 3D glasses.
Yeah.
And you go in and the video plays and the monsters come real close to you.
Yeah, that's one thing that scares the heck out of me.
When I tell you, this was a thing aimed at children and adults. There were 5-year-olds. I would say the youngest kid in our group was 5. I was the only person screaming. I was screaming. I was grabbing my friend and I was like, I don't like this. I don't like this. I had to close my eyes for them for most of it.
Oh my god. Going back to the whole chill thing. I'm usually a chill person, but there's things that I just don't do.
I don't want things flying at my face.
I don't do horror. Yeah, I don't do horror stuff. I don't do demons. I don't do devils. I don't do vampires. I don't do ghosts. I don't do witches. I don't do any of that kind of stuff.
Not the occult.
I don't do cults.
No occult. She doesn't do anything in the occult. That's what you call.
Yeah, but I also don't do cults either. So I don't do any of that kind of stuff. But
what if it's a sexy cult?
I don't do sexy cult, unsexy cult, no, like none of that.
I watch Stranger Things by myself, not scared at all. There is something about something coming at you that isn't coming at you, but is coming at you. Like your brain is like, but it's your eyes are telling me that stuff is coming at you, but you know you're in a room. Yeah. I didn't like it one bit. That's and so they kept on. They would like basically the premise of the experience is like you would have to you have powers like 11, so they'll be like use your mind powers, and then everyone would have to be like, it was so fucking cringy. But you'd use your mind powers and it would just freeze the monster, but bring it closer.
Oh,
I was like, why do you need it? Why does it need to be here?
So interesting.
And then oh no, you're not strong enough. And then suddenly it's like trying to fucking jump in your face. No, and then they had bird ones.
Oh yeah, okay.
It was scary. I'm sorry,
but I think if you're a fan of the show,
I would not bring my kid there. Based on that thing at the end, I would ask for a refund. You did not warn me that it was going to be like that.
Oh, maybe that needs to be just clearer. But
if I was a kid, I would have wet myself.
But it sounds like the kids that were there weren't that scared.
I don't even think they were watching it. I don't know what they were doing, but I was screaming. I was screaming. I did not like it.
But I think if you did a mall experience, I think that'd be really fun.
Yeah,
I think you have like a whole idea of...
You'll get an envelope at the beginning.
Yes.
And one of your envelope says... It's like Mafia.
Yeah, basically. What
was the one where someone goes out of the room, one of you's a murderer? With murder.
Yes. Or, yeah. Yeah. Or what's the other one? Why are you winking at me?
You have to die because I'm the murderer.
What's it? Yeah, murder mystery type of thing.
Yeah, that's what murder. Oh, what you mean like a murder mystery?
Like a murder mystery type of thing. Yeah.
Do you know what I'm going to do for my birthday?
A murder mystery.
I'm going to do murder mystery. That's
fun. It'll be fun. Go to like a nice one, because I've been to one where it's like really cheesy and that's like...
Oh, I thought you just do it in their house. Like you get the cards and stuff.
Oh, I just do it in...
Well, the one murder mystery birthday I was going to go to once, you all had cards and they were sent to you in advance of the dinner.
Oh.
And so you knew who your character was, and you could like buy stuff to get into character, and then you come to the dinner and you do it at the dinner.
Okay.
But I didn't know there were places you could go. That could be fun.
There may be some places that you can do that, but also you could also just save the time, save the money, and just do it in your house.
I might write, but if I write the murder mystery, I can't be in the murder mystery.
Oh, you want to be part of it? Yeah, you need to go somewhere separate then.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is not about your birthday, but...
It's not even close to my birthday.
No, months away.
Yeah.
But I think overall, The Mole, great show.
How much are we... Let's rate it. How much are you giving it out of 5?
I'm going to give it a solid 3.5.
That's wild. I would give it 5.
No, come on, Marnie.
I think it was the best version of The Mole.
Oh yeah, because I mean, context. There's been multiple different versions.
I haven't seen other versions.
I think it's based on international formats.
I thought it was an older format.
It's an older format as well.
Yeah.
And I also think maybe the most recent one is probably based on the Belgium format.
Okay.
But it's not because I didn't think it was bad. I was going to say 3.8, but I didn't want to be like...
No, we're not doing that.
Yeah, that one's, yeah. So 3.5 is because I gave from scratch 4.5 or 4. Like I can't, like it's not better than from scratch.
Yeah, it was.
No, it wasn't. Not for me personally.
It still sounded very chill of you. I said it was, and then you went, no, it wasn't. That's what.
No,
chill.
I mean,
you're supposed to let me have my opinion.
Have your opinion. Take the space.
I think The Mole has been one of the better things I've seen this year.
Wow.
I enjoyed my experience of The Mole from start to finish. Wow. I even enjoyed, I was like, when they were, the top 3 were Joy, Cassie, and Will. I was like, if Will turns out to be The Mole, I'm gonna be like, what the hell? You tricked me. It worked. If Joy turns out to be the mole, I'll pat myself on the back. I
Yeah.
was right. If Cassie turns out to be the mole, then Joy's just a real person.
Yeah, true. And
Who
then
does stuff like this.
we discovered she
even
is.
better.
Yeah.
So I just, any outcome I really enjoyed. There were some characters I was really sad that left early, like John, but I like that they stuck to those and weren't like, I feel like a second season of this would be like, people have favourites.
Yeah.
Look, keep favourites. None of that happened. It was just like, people play a game. If you win the game, you stay. If you lose the game, you go home.
I'm not gonna say that it's a bad show because I think it's great. It's a great format. I think
maybe I'll go to 4.5.
Why?
The 4.5 is I just didn't like the quiz format.
Yeah.
I think they should have just at the table been like, I think it's you.
I think it makes it more interesting, and also I love the confrontation is what was kind of missing from the show.
That's what Joy is trying to bring in because she is a producer, honey.
Yes, she really is a producer at heart.
She said it's time for drama.
There's time to drop it in. But I think, again, going back to what we were talking about in pop culture news with Love is Blind, one of the reasons why that show is so interesting and we've been talking about it non-stop is because there's drama. With The Mole, the premise and the ideas and the challenges create some elements of drama, but the drama between the contestants were lost. And so it wasn't as interesting, even though I do love the format and it was really refreshing to watch a reality show that was more of a competition format, that was less about the romance and more about like human behavior. And like, I'm not gonna lie, like it really heightens the whole idea of trusting people and trusting who, or like knowing who you can trust, knowing how to play the game, knowing how to bluff. It was very interesting that in that premise and in that idea. But was it the best thing I've watched all year? No. Was it the best reality show I've watched all year? Still no. But it was a good show. It was solid and I enjoyed it and I binged all the way through and I would definitely recommend.
It's a great binging show.
It definitely is.
I would definitely recommend.
Yeah,
absolutely love it.
Absolutely.
I would recommend all writers to watch them all.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to tell you now, quit your job. You're never going to come up with anything more twisty and turny than the Mole. I would have quit my job based on the Mole. I said maybe this is what I should be doing in my life. Maybe I should be writing challenges for the Mole.
I think also just it kept it entertaining in terms of like when you kept describing it like not a scripted show, but like it has the dilemmas, the challenges, the issues, the twists, the turns that you would expect in a drama.
Yeah, I think the only
and it wasn't predictable.
If you're right, the only thing it needed was just for us to see the impact of those twists and turns on these characters.
And like, a bit of romance.
We
sprinkle that just a bit.
We should have seen them by the end of the series just being like, I don't know, man.
Yeah.
I'm losing it because I think it's this person, but I don't know if I'm right, and I don't want to lose the money. And the final challenge. Cassie was really Cassie.
She really was. And that again, so I don't know why I didn't think like definitely her, but it's because by this point I was so gone ho on Joy.
And I also just couldn't get my head around the fact that Joy could just be a normal person.
Yeah, exactly. Because she was just so...
She's doing some mad stuff.
Yeah.
In short, we love you. Joy, honestly, if you want to come on the podcast, please.
More than welcome.
I would love to talk to you about them all.
I always want to get into her psyche. I think she's so fascinating.
I want to know everything about her.
Yeah.
I want to know where she was born.
I want to know who and where she's flying.
I literally just want to know everything about her.
I think she's very intriguing.
I'm going to follow her on Instagram as soon as this is done.
Yeah, you see? Like, influencers, and going back to what we were talking about before.
I don't want to have to do that.
When you're watching a show, you get invested in your people. So you can't be doing, I want to put privacy. Fam, you signed the contract, you're on a reality show, people will see you, you're going to get some notoriety in whatever format and whatever scale. It is what it is.
This doesn't sound very chill of you, but I will have to take it. What are we reviewing next week?
We are reviewing The Bear, which is a 8-part drama comedy.
Yeah.
On Disney Plus.
Yeah.
So we're going back to dramas this time because we've done a lot of reality.
We have.
I'm very excited about this show. I haven't watched it yet.
It's set in a kitchen.
Yep.
Not a house kitchen.
Not a house kitchen, no.
A restaurant.
Apparently it's all about like a hot chef.
We'll see how hot he is.
Yeah. Again, I haven't watched it.
We'll see how hot he is.
I remember someone at work talking about The Bear and like, yeah, about a hot chef. I was like,
is he hot?
Yeah, we're going to watch the show and then let you know how hot we think he is. But yeah, that was a really interesting review today.
Guys, lads,
ladettes,
it's the end of the app, which means it's time for us to go. But I just want you guys to know that if we were on the mole, I would not say that you guys were the mole. Because I feel like you guys will pull your weight. And I'd like to think that you wouldn't say that I was the mole. But Shoshanna is in fact the mole.
No, I would like to believe that if you were given a question in the quiz about the mole, about who's the most chill, you know who to answer.
One last thing before we go. If I was the mole and we were both on the show,
Yeah.
there'd be no point in you outing me, would there?
Yeah, because you're the mole.
Because I won't go home anyway.
No, exactly. And I'll go home.
If we were both on the show
Yeah.
and one of us was the mole, and
Yeah.
you were the mole,
Yeah.
but I didn't know you were the mole,
Yeah.
would you tell me you was the mole?
Oh, hell no.
Shoshanna, I think that's absolutely shocking.
You know why? Because I want us to make as much money as possible.
Exactly.
And
so
I
tell
can
me
give-
that you're
No,
the mole, so I don't vote for the wrong person.
No. So if I win, I'll give you some of it.
That's how you know she's not sure.
I would give you the money because that's how generous and chill I am. So this has been the Scripts and Giggles with Shoshanna
And the mole money.
Bye.
Bye.